Oh my goodness, I need a tan. Hey guys, so I've been telling you for a while now that I was gonna do my, let me just fix this camera. My breastfeeding journey and, my thoughts on breastfeeding versus formula feeding. And I was gonna do it in one video, but I decided it would make a lot more sense to do it in two, or else I'm gonna get like all over the place. And I don't really want that because I'm trying to do less of that. And I've also realized I say like 5 billion times, so I'm gonna really try not to say that. So if you catch me saying in this video, not counting that time, no, dang it. See what I mean? I can't, like, I cannot. But I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm gonna try to stop saying that, is my point. In speech class, that's always what he wrote down on my paper, was say less. So I'm gonna work on it, and I'm gonna get started on this video. This one's gonna be my breastfeeding journey, and then in a couple days I'm gonna upload my formula versus breastfeeding opinion video. So let's just get started. So first of all, I thought breastfeeding was just gonna be so easy, mostly because my mom had an easy time with all 5 of us, and she was like, oh, it's no problem, because people had been telling me, if you need any help, you know, with breastfeeding, just talk to me. And I was like, oh, okay, thinking like, oh, it might be difficult. And then my mom was like, oh, you'll be fine, it's no big deal. Everything will be perfect, it'll be, you know, she just told me like, it'll be so easy, like, you don't have to worry about anything. So I was like, okay, well, awesome. I guess these other people just, I don't know, I thought it like ran in my family or something. But I think it can have a lot to do with your mom, like how she was when it comes, because your bodies are very similar, but I don't think that it has everything to do with it, and obviously not, because I have had some struggles when it comes to breastfeeding. So starting all the way back at the beginning, when Serenity was born, took her away for a few hours and did all the stuff that they do to newborn babies. So I didn't get a breastfeeder when she was first born. They brought her back after a few hours, and you know, they later on me and they're like, you want to try to breastfeed? And I was like, sure. So they put her up to me. I was like, this is so weird, like, she's not gonna know what to do. She's like at 4 hours old, she's not gonna have a clue. Somehow they just automatically, she just latched right on, and it was really good latch too. And all I had was colostrum, obviously, at the time, because usually your breast milk doesn't come in till a few days later. But I guess colostrum's really good for them, and they really don't need to eat a lot when they're little anyway. So that was plenty, and she breastfed, and it was perfect. And about 3 or 4 days later, my breast milk came in. It really, really came in when it came in. I had like an extreme oversupply to the point where I was annoyed with it, which I want to shoot myself for being annoyed with it right now, but I didn't know, like, it only took a couple hours and I would be out, you know, with the baby. So, and at that time I didn't have an electric pump, all I had was a manual pump. So I either had to use a manual pump or nurse her. So I would have on breast pads, a bra, and a shirt, and I would feel the milk like leaking down here, and it went through all of it. It had like wet spots over my shirt. That's how much it was leaking, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. But I didn't realize how lucky I was that I did have that much, because I really wish I had that much now. I would absolutely not complain. For the first few weeks of Serenity's life, I was only nursing her because I wasn't back to work or anything like that, and the doctors said wait a couple weeks to try using bottles because it can mess up the baby's latch with nursing. So I listened to them like a good girl, and even though it was a pain, because sometimes it's just easier to use a bottle. You don't always want to flip your shirt up all the time, but I did for 3 weeks. Or 2.5 weeks, I think, is when I gave her her first bottle. It was breast milk still, of course, but I gave her her first bottle, and she's still able to latch on. She was like, what the heck, when I gave her a bottle, because she was like, this is not the nipple. She made the weirdest face, but she, you know, she caught on. She was like, okay, there's milk coming out of it, I can do this. And she still latched on to me perfectly. It was awesome. And at this point, I had an electric pump, because that freaking hand pump, you can get a lot out really fast, but that thing hurts your arms so bad. And with how much I was having to pump, I hated that thing. But I had an electric pump at this point, and it was awesome. So tons of milk, electric pump, using bottles, and breastfeeding at about 3 weeks old. So that's where I was at this point. So about a week before I went back to work, which Serenity was, I think, about 4 weeks old at that point, I had about 20 to 30 ounces of milk stored in the freezer. Like, I always had extra in there and was able to still feed her. And then we decided we were going to take a trip to Indiana to go visit my grandma and everything. And that was the first time it got completely messed up. And I don't really know why. I'm thinking that it's because at this point I wasn't using the manual pump at all, so my body was used to this, like, the sucking motion of her and the electric pump, because on the trip I didn't bring my electric pump, so all I was nursing her. But obviously on the 12-hour trip there, I wasn't nursing her, so all I was doing was using the manual pump. It was working great on the way there. I mean, it was still like overflowing and it was ridiculous. But after a couple days of being in Indiana and just nursing and mostly using the pump in bottles, I noticed it wasn't they weren't like leaking like they used to, and I was like, this is kind of weird. I mean, this is kind of good, but no, it was not good, because on the way back from Indiana, I was hardly even able to get enough milk, like, at a time. Like, I guess if I'd sat there for 20 minutes and pumped, I would have had probably a full bottle. But usually I could get that much within about 5 minutes, and I can't sit there and pump for 20 minutes because my arms would break off. But yeah, on the way back, I was like, this is kind of weird, because she was crying, so I needed to feed her. So I would pump, get about 2 ounces, feed her that, but she wanted more, so I was like, oh my gosh, so pump, get another 2 ounces. But it took a while, and my arms were just killing me, and I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I usually have way too much milk, and now I can't even get enough within a certain amount of time to keep her from crying. So obviously right when I got back from Indiana, that was like literally a couple days later, I started back to work, and of course that's when my supply was like going away, and I'm so mad at myself because that 20 to 30 ounces of milk that I had in the freezer, I brought it all to Indiana with me. I don't know why. I didn't need to do that, but I brought it all to Indiana with me, so I had none in the freezer anymore. And I had to supplement, which I'll talk about this more in my breastfeeding versus formula feeding, but at that point I was like, oh my gosh, no, I didn't want to have to feed her any formula at all. This sucks so bad. So, ooh, my throat's like really scratchy. Yeah, I had to feed her some formula, and it just, I don't know why, but it just really drove me crazy, because I thought I was going to be able to breastfeed, never need the formula the hospital gave me. I was like, I won't need this, why did they give me this? But yeah, I had to supplement a little bit because I wasn't making enough. I'm not sure how I figured out what to do to get my supply back up. I don't know, I might have asked on Instagram and you guys probably helped me, or I might have Googled it or something, but basically what I did was just started pumping or nursing very, very frequently. So my body would realize, like, you're not making enough milk, so keep making more. And drinking a lot of water, and my supply did go back up to the point where we weren't really having to use formula, I guess, because I was able to keep some in the freezer, so it was good. And whoever was babysitting her usually had enough breast milk for the 4 hours that I was gone. So the second time my supply dipped, I would say that was definitely my fault, because I kind of got to where I was like, ugh, I do not want to pump right now, I'll just do it later. I would just basically nurse if she was really that hungry, and then I would put off pumping, and especially when I would go to work, and I would get I'd be on my feet, you know, all night, get home at 9 o'clock, not have seen James, like, all day, and I was like, ugh, I just want to relax and watch TV and stuff. I don't want to pump, so I wouldn't pump at night. And if she didn't want to eat, like if she was asleep and she didn't want to eat till like 1 in the morning, that was another 3 or 4 hours that I was going without pumping. So my supply, bye-bye. Like, that was the worst I've ever seen it. On Christmas Day, I could not pump more than an ounce between both sides. And I was really freaking out then because obviously it was formula all day. And I was like, no, what the heck, is my supply like drying up completely? So again, for the next couple of days, I was breastfeeding her whenever she seemed hungry and pumping when she wasn't hungry, drinking tons and tons of water, and it went back up to the point where it even like leaked at night at once, and I was like, what in the world? This is awesome. And it hasn't done that since, but it did that one night. It leaked through, and I was like, this is great. I am so happy to have like a soaking wet shirt right now. But yeah, so it went back up around the first couple of days of January, and basically I am, let's see, don't want to miss anything. So currently I am now in school, only taking one class, but that's still another 3 or 4 hours that I'm gone, with between the driving and it's like a 2-part class. And I'm working 3 days a week, so I'm not able to pump as much or nurse as much. So right now my supply is sort of in between. It's not horrible, but it's not nearly as good as I want it to be because she's still having to have a lot of formula. But like everyone that babysits her, I usually have about like 2 or 3 ounces of breast milk. I'm like, feed her this first. Then basically she probably ends up eating about 4 or 5 ounces of formula too, because I'm gone for a while and she's a hungry baby and she eats a lot. So it sucks, but I am happy that I'm still producing enough milk to where when I'm here with her, she gets basically just breast milk. Let's see, I was gonna say something. Oh, also with the formula, and I remember them teaching this in the class I had to go to, but I didn't pay attention because I thought, oh, it's fine, I won't need to formula feed, I'll just breastfeed. But they talked about if I'm in the room and she sees me, she's not gonna take formula from me or anyone else, because she knows what I have and she wants that milk, and oh my gosh, she will not take formula from me. She will cry and whine, and I'm like, here's some milk, and she'll like suck on it and then still be whining. She doesn't want that. She wants the breast milk. She'll take formula from anyone else. She'll drink it all up, but from me, she rarely will. So it's really kind of a struggle. I'm hoping to get my supply up, but that's been my journey so far, and it's not been nearly as easy as I thought it would be, and it's really disappointing. But I do have to realize that I have made it to 3.5 months, and some people can't get to the first few weeks, and I am sorry if that's you, but you're feeding, as long as you're feeding your child, you're an awesome mom. And obviously I'm going to talk more about that in my other video, but I just want people to know in this video that I'm not putting down anyone that feeds their child formula, because I think that's ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm really hoping to make it to the 6-month mark, and if I make it there, I'll be awesome, happy, whatever. If I have to feed her formula, that's fine. And if I can make it to the 1-year mark, that'll be super awesome, and then I won't worry about it anymore because she can eat other foods and it'll be perfectly fine. So that's my goal, 6 months. I think I'll make it there because I'm still producing enough, but that's my goal. So thanks for watching this video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe down there. Follow my Instagram, which obviously will be below as usual, and my breastfeeding versus formula feeding video will be up probably Thursday. So thanks for always being supportive as usual, and have an awesome Monday. Have an awesome Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Bye. Can um, 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 but, um, um, and, let's see, um, and, but, and, um,